I'm Joshua Bardwell, and you're going to learn something today. When I released my review of the Holybro Kopis 2 yesterday, one of the things I did was I showed you some DVR of the camera, and a lot of people commented on how bad the breakup was in the video, and said, wow, the Kopis 2 must have really bad video. No, you guys, you're missing the point. Anytime you use a DVR, or in this case it's a capture card, to capture video from a live feed, you're not seeing what you actually see in the goggles. Because the Fatshark goggles are actually shockingly good at holding onto and showing an FPV signal. Better than almost any other display device I've ever seen. So, what I want to show you today is the real difference between what you see in the goggles and various other kinds of capture. And yeah, I'm going to show you what the Kopis actually looks like, but I'm also going to... I hope I give you a new perspective, because anytime nobody is actually putting a camera inside the Fatshark goggle and showing you what the actual screen looks like, and that means you're never really seeing the truth. Stay tuned. Alright folks, here's what we're working with today. We're going to start with the Clearview ground station. That is going to be what's picking up the signal from the quad. And it is feeding out to two different devices. The first device is the Fatshark HDO. And the HDO is going to be recording with its DVR, because I want you guys to see that's what a lot of people are using as the reference for their tests, myself included. I'll talk about that in a second. Now, in addition to the DVR, I am going to be putting a GoPro, so it is capturing the actual screen inside the goggle, and that's going to show you what the pilot would actually see. In addition, I'm going to be using this Inogeny USB capture device. Thanks to Flightbox from the Deadband show for suggesting this to me. It is actually surprisingly hard to capture an FPV signal, because the breakup is so bad it just destroys most capture devices. And not only is this really good at bringing in the signal, although as you will see it is still not as good as what you actually see in the goggles. Not only is this really good at bringing in the signal, but one of the things it does that nobody else that I've seen does is it deinterlaces the camera's signal, so you actually see the full resolution of the camera. As we go into the results, there's one or two things I want to tell you. First is that although I'm using a Clearview receiver, I have set the Clearview in software to traditional diversity mode. I didn't want the magic Clearview of pixie dust to give an unfair impression of the performance of the Kopis's video transmitter. I didn't want the Clearview to clean up the signal and make it look better than it really does. Right now, the video transmitter is overheating because it's sitting in the sun. Don't worry, I'll spin the props. That'll fix itself in 1 second. The other thing is that although I'm showing you the screen of the HDO goggles, and I'm recording in 4K, nevertheless, this is just a camera stuffed into the screen, so it doesn't necessarily reflect the actual resolution, sharpness, etc. I think it's as close as you're going to get to sticking your face in there. But anyway, here we go. And we're at 200 milliwatts here. The Atlatl can go up to 800 milliwatts, but I wanted you guys to see this in 200 milliwatts. And you can now compare how the Inogeny capture card, the Fatshark DVR, and the actual HDO screen break up. I suggest that you mute me, mute my stupid voice, and watch this in slow-mo, but you can do whatever you want. There's a playback speed down in the lower right on YouTube. What you should see is that the HDO screen does better than the DVR and the USB capture card, although with the HDO, Fatshark improved the analog front end of their DVR. So actually, this is the best a Fatshark DVR has ever looked. If you have an HD2, HD3, or any earlier goggles, then it's going to look even worse than this. I flew through the trees a couple times. That's the hardest part on my property. And now I'm just sort of flying away into the sky. And you can see the HDO screen is staying pretty clear. Here they're all kind of breaking up. The Inogeny goes to black screen every now and then. Anyway, you can decide for yourself whether you think that the performance of the Kopis's video transmitter is good enough or not good enough. Whatever, that's your decision. But now you have a perspective on how what you see in the screen compares to what is captured by an external DVR or even a $400 frickin' USB capture card. Yeah. In a minute, I'm going to land, then I'm going to put this guy up at 800 milliwatts, and you guys can get a perspective on what kind of coverage the Kopis the Atlatl video transmitter on the Kopis puts out at its max output power. My perspective, it doesn't seem as good as a really top-end one. Like I feel like I would get less breakup on like a Unify at 200 milliwatts. So this antenna placement may not be ideal, but the question is whether it's good enough for what you do and whether the change in durability, I think it's an increase in durability, is worth it. And we're going to go to 800 milliwatts here, and then we'll do another circuit.